Welcome to r/ProRevenge, where this teacher gets fired and is told to remove all their personal things from the school. However, when they do just as they were asked, the new management realizes what a terrible mistake they've made. I'm not the vice principal anymore. Okay, so this happened at the end of this school year. I posted what was going on in the r/teacher subreddit, and several of the people there told me to post what happened in here. Basically, I was told that all the assistant or vice principals in the district, other than at the high school, were being let go, and a teacher on assignment, TOA, was going to take our jobs. I was not heartbroken over this, but I was treated badly by the new admin team taking my job and my principal's job. Also, I tried to help my staff on my way out, and it seems my bosses cared more about their images than my staff's happiness. So, here is the story. Part 1. None of the other admin in my district had received our contracts for the coming school year yet. I was wondering what was going on, but I heard rumors about a pay scale shift, and that was the reason for it. I found out Wednesday what is actually happening. Every assistant principal and vice principal in the district, while we have 2 different titles I have no idea, is not getting renewed contracts, except the ones at the high school. Their positions are being eliminated, and their jobs replaced with a new position that pays a teacher's salary plus a $2,000 stipend. They're replacing the APs with learning coordinators. Apparently the budget is the given reason, but I also heard rumors from someone at the district office. Each one of us assistant principals, vice principals, was scheduled to meet with one of the assistant supers on Wednesday. We thought it was about our contracts, and we were correct. When I arrived, the acting superintendent was there with the head of HR. I was told about the elimination of my position, but not the reasons why. I was then given an option for the coming school year. I could either go back into the classroom, I could work in the district office, or I could apply an interview for the new positions that is replacing my job. What the frick? I wouldn't care one lick if I was told that my position had been cut completely, and I needed to go back into the classroom. I love the classroom, and I miss teaching full-time. However, to tell me to apply an interview for a job I already have is BS. We were told to give the district our answers by Friday, and they draw up contracts or schedule interviews. Wednesday afternoon, I went to see Tony, who's an assistant superintendent and one of the few decent leaders in the school district. I heard from Tony that there was an internal shakeup, but he wasn't allowed to talk about it, or even give me a hint about what happened. However, one of the assistant supers was being reassigned, aka demoted, to being the principal of my current school. My principal was not coming back to health reasons. The superintendent was released from his contract, and my school's new learning coordinator position had already been filled. Who filled it? A school counsellor from one of the high schools, who just so happens to be a friend and lackey of the assistant super that is the new principal. So, early this morning, I gave them my answer. I decided I didn't need until Friday to decide. I tried to make sure I sounded professional, but I made sure that my message was getting across by speaking with authority. I went into the acting superintendent's office and told him that I thought that laying off a bunch of people so they could hire others to do the same job but at less pay was BS. I told him that the way the school district handles certain situations was idiotic. I then gave several examples. I next told him that he was going to ruin a perfectly good school with an amazing team of educators by putting a lazy, mean, parent-pleasing person in as its new principal and letting her put a lackey in as her second in command. I said that she was as useless as a screen door on a submarine and as mean as Dolores Umbridge. I finished the 3-minute speech by stating that I will work my butt off and finish the school year strong. I will prep things for the next school year so that the teachers have an easier time. I also let him know I would never work at or recommend the district to anyone ever again. Then I left, letting him know that I expect an amazing letter of recommendation by the end of the school day Friday afternoon, since I'd earned it for my service the past few years. So what am I going to do now? Well, I called up an old friend on Wednesday who is currently a principal at a STEAM charter school that's part of a chain of charter STEAM schools, and asked if he had a teaching position available. He's been asking me every year for the past 5 to come and work for him. He told me he had 3 openings and I could have my pick of them. So, next year, I will be a, drumroll please, 6th grade teacher, and I'm very happy about it. I even get to design my curriculum as long as it meets state standards. Yeah, I could apply elsewhere for admin positions, but I think I need a break from school leadership. I need to love my work again like I used to as a teacher. Yes, there were and are many challenges, and sometimes I hated going to work, but I do love being a teacher. I feel bad for my current staff because the regime changes will hit them hard, but there's nothing I can do about it. I wish I could help them. The most I could do would be to take a teaching position at my current school, but then I'd be miserable with them and be helpless to do anything to aid them. So, for myself and my daughter, who I love more than anything, I'm making the move to a new school and going back to what I enjoy doing: teaching. I'm even bringing my daughter to my new school to start next year as a 5th grader. I asked her if she wanted to stay at her current school or go to the STEAM school with me, and she wants to go with me. She was excited since she's visited there several times and loves the technology room, the robotics class, and the science labs. Plus, she's friends with some of the kids there already. As a goodbye to my staff, I'm going out this weekend and I'm going to buy some nice letter paper and scratcher tickets. I'm going to write short, individualized goodbyes to each of my staff members. And at the end, I will include the following words: I'm giving you some scratcher tickets. My hope is that you're as lucky scratching them as I've been lucky to have worked with you. So that's it. I have to finish my contract, but at the end of June, I am free. I'm looking forward to teaching full-time again and having a boss who will let me just do my job and not interfere. I don't think I want to work in administration again, but maybe after a few years, I'll decide to work as an AP again. Now moving on to part 2. So, I put together goodbye gifts for all my staff, and I'll be handing them out on Friday, their last day with the kids. They have a bunch of goodies that I posted about weeks ago. I was thinking this weekend about how to give the finger one more time to the district office and help my teachers out, even in a small way. So I came up with it on Sunday nights. My district requires each teacher to attend additional training throughout the year. These are outside of the regular staff development trainings. They are run by district staff, SPED teachers, and admin. The training normally lasts 1 to 3 hours, and the teachers get a certificate for the time spent in the training. Each teacher is required to attend 24 hours of these before the end of the school year. Most teachers take them over the summer, if offered, so they don't have to take them during the school year. So yesterday morning before work, I was making copies of the certificates for all the courses I've run here the past few years: classroom management strategies, lockdown procedures, social studies strategies, math strategies, reading comprehension, and environmental prints. I'm going to fill them out with each of the teachers' names and number of hours. I'm adding all the times I ever spoke to the staff about these topics and putting down hours to correspond, rounding up to the nearest hour-ish. Wouldn't you know, each of those topics was 3 to 5 hours in length. Each staff member will have exactly 24 hours worth of training. I filled out the dates of the training for the 2022-2023 school year. Oh, and I have an attendance sheet with all of their names and have marked them as being present. Notes, I checked with the district, and since I'm still an administrator into the summer, I am allowed to run these training sessions over the summer before I leave. Now they can have their summers to themselves and not worry about taking classes during the school year. They can if they wish, but 99% of teachers here hate the mandatory training hours. I hope the staff likes the presents. Part 3. Since Friday, I am no longer a school administrator. I technically have another week to work, but I took vacation during that time because, well, screw them. Now, I spent the last week packing up, giving aid and comfort to my now former staff, and causing problems for the new administrators who are buttholes. Besides giving the entire staff a year free from additional PDs, I wasn't planning on causing any more problems. Just quietly leave and drive off into the sunset, Shane style. But no, apparently I don't deserve a quiet week. The new principal, demoted from assistant super, and her new teacher on assignment decided, for some reason, to be rude to me. There was only one response to that: I aimed to misbehave. How were they rude to me, you ask? Well, first off, they ordered me to hurry and clean up my office. Apparently, the TOA wanted to start redecorating it. I was literally told, get all your personal stuff out of here ASAP. She wants the office now. I still had a week to work there and I had actual work to do. Second, the new principal tried to steal my personal chair and my personal office supplies and decorations. That chair was a gift to me from a friend. I found her just wheeling it out of my office and into hers. My desk supplies and a banner from my wall was stacked on its seat. I told her it was my personal chair, not the district's. She just said, okay. The very next morning, I found it missing. She'd moved it into her office after I left for the day. Third, I was given a list of tasks to complete by Friday by the TOA, who is in no way, shape or form my boss. These were not my job to do, and are in fact the incoming admin's duty to complete. Stuff the new admin is supposed to do. Things like put together a new staff packet, schedule next year's PDs, fill out and submit request forms, etc. Finally, I was talked down to every single day by the new admin team. I was spoken to as though I were the hired help and they were the royal female dogs. Seriously, I speak to a waitress that messes up my order with 20 times the amount of respect that they showed me. They actually tried to get my attention by snapping their fingers at me. Like that would work. Also, the new principal made some pretty anti-LGBTQ+ comments. I don't like narrow-minded people. So, I decided to do as I was told. I was a soldier, so I know how to follow orders. First, I removed everything that was my personal property. That included my chairs, decorations, the stress relievers, punching bag, etc., the fridge from the office, and the file cabinets in my office. Yes, I bought government surplus cabinets because I didn't have any. All my files and all of my former principal files were in there. I'd even bought the manila folder I used in it. So I took every piece of paper out of my cabinets, removed them from my labeled folders, and stacked them on the floor into one large pile. There's no order to how they're stacked. I took my chair from the principal's office while she was in a meeting with parents. I just walked in and rolled it out. She stopped talking to the parents to ask what I was doing, and I responded that I was taking my personal property out ASAP as I was ordered to do. I had an old medium-sized fridge that I placed in the office workroom for office staff to store their food in. But it's mine, so I took the fridge. I brought it right out the front door and loaded it into my truck. I even took the new admin's food out of it and left it on the table. It is my fridge. I warned the rest of the office staff I was taking it, but I forgot to tell the admin. Darn. I copied all my digital files over to a flash drive and then deleted everything off my work Google Drive. Anything I personally created or designed. I copied all my emails too. I informed the staff that if they need time off next year and need it approved, to submit the forms to me this week. I got several and they're all now approved. I got this idea from someone who messaged me here on Reddit and suggested I do this. Thanks for the advice. I approved every supply list item the staff submitted and even drove to the district warehouse to pick up some items personally. I even approved funds for a second-hand kiln for the art teacher. She found a good one on Craigslist. I'd repaired my desk with bolts and tools from home. I took the bolts back. The desk is now lopsided again. The closet door was broken when I got there, so I repaired it, but I've now put it back as it was when I was hired. The two-way mirror to the detention room was mine. I'd gotten it from a friend at another school, a different district. It allowed me to watch ISS and detention students from my office without them seeing me. I popped that right out and took it home. Now the TOA has a hole in the wall the detention kids can look through. I put together all the lockdown buckets and fire drill bags myself with my own money, so I took all of them back. This I felt bad about, but I'll give them out to the staff at my new school. I put a rush order on all classroom and building repairs and have an approved order to have every classroom repainted. I assembled new staff packets and the new school year binders. Besides the basics of what is required, I've included throughout the binders, in random places, Dealbook cartoons, famous Harry Potter quotes, the lyrics to Nickelback's How You Remind Me, I Kissed a Girl by Katy Perry, All Star by Smash Mouth, and We Built This City by Starship, a map of the area where I marked all the good places to eat lunch off campus, funny Far Side teacher comics, cheesy teacher jokes, the union contact info, crosswords, Sudoku and word searches, a list of educational lawyers, just in case, and I also included in the binder the admin Wi-Fi password for them, since that signal is stronger for some reason. Next up, I went ahead and wrote out the PD schedule for next year. Oddly, every Wednesday is listed as free time or work in your classroom. I'm sure they'll change it, but I don't know when they'll find out what it says. I had a master list of donators and partners in the community. It was posted on a whiteboard in my office. I got over 4 dozen businesses and people in the community to help with various things or just donate over the years. I spent a lot of my time building relationships with them and making deals. I took a photo of it and then I erased the list and took the whiteboard since it was mine. On Friday, I flew the LGBTQ+ flag instead of the state flag. I also placed LGBTQ+ flags in each classroom in case the staff want to display them. Then I got yelled at 3 times. The first time was when I took back my chair. I was told it was unprofessional to just take it without asking, especially with guests present. I responded with, yes, it was unprofessional to take my chair without asking. The second time was when the TOA found the refrigerator gone. She said that it was community property. I told her, no, it's my property, and I was told to take all my property from the campus. The third time was when I was in the parking lot leaving and they found the piles of papers. The principal flagged me down and told me to clean it up. I told her I was off the clock and that the district never reimbursed me for the cabinets, so I had to take them with me. I'm expecting a call from HR today, asking for my assistance setting everything back up, since with all my stuff removed and erased, the admin team has to actually put in some hard work. I'd come in, but only for my consultant rates, $75 an hour with a minimum contract of 12 hours. Now for the final part, part 4. So, as some of you know, I left the world of being an administrator a few weeks ago. I tried to leave behind some nice gifts when I left. I wasn't looking to cause problems my last few weeks, but the new admin team treated me in a way that was unacceptable. So I decided that Malcolm Reynolds had it right when he said I aim to misbehave. Well, the Tuesday after I left, I did receive a call from HR. I ignored it. I then left for a road trip with my daughter where we went to San Francisco for a few days and went to 2 Giants games. Unfortunately, they lost both games. While on our trip, HR called and emailed me at my personal email accounts. My work one was deleted by then. I ignored the calls and never opened the emails. My daughter and I then went to Disneyland for a few days of fun and then returned this past Friday. I then checked the voicemails and emails. I was asked, begged, and then ordered to come to the HR for important meetings. It is very important that we speak to you as soon as possible, is what they said repeatedly. So yesterday, I went into the district office wearing cargo shorts, a shirt I got at Disneyland, and flip-flops. I don't work there, so I don't need to dress up. When I arrived, I was originally treated like a visiting VIP. The HR manager and her assistant tried to butter me up like a Pillsbury biscuit. After a few minutes of them trying to make small talk, and me then letting them know I had plans to go to lunch in 30 minutes, they got to the point. They wanted me to turn over a few things that I took with me. That, though they belonged to me, they said was sorely needed at the school. They gave me a list from the new principal, which included, but was not limited to, my chair, seriously, my refrigerator and appliances, my community contacts board, the people and businesses that I built relationships and partners with that I destroyed, my personally designed forms and worksheets, the 2-way mirror, my lockdown buckets and fire drill bags. They also wanted copies of every record I kept and notes I took on the staff and students. The notes that I took on the staff was so I could personalize gifts for them and have conversations with them on their interests. I said no to all those requests. I told the ladies that the furniture and appliances were mine that I brought in. I stated that the chair was a gift to me from a friend and that the new principal can afford to buy her own chair. I also stated that I left any official school and district documents there, and any I took with me and or deleted were of my own making and therefore my intellectual property. I also stated that my contacts were developed over the years on my personal time and at a personal cost to me. I also stated that everything I took that I'd submitted reimbursement was never reimbursed. I kept my records and pay stubs. I never saw a red cent from those submissions. They offered to pay me for some of the items and gave me a rough figure of what the district would pay me to return the fridge, the forms, buckets, bags, mirror, and contact board. I told them that I did not want to hand them over to the new admin team since they treated me so poorly. They asked me again and tried to reason that some of those things could be interpreted as school property. I told them that they were welcome to try and force me to return anything that was legally mine to them, but I'd be willing to fight it in court. I also told them that those 2 new administrators made me feel uncomfortable and that their treatment of me could be considered making a hostile work environment, especially when they tried to make me do their jobs for them. I then gave the HR team my lawyer's info. Finally, I wished the lady a good school year in the term to come and left. I doubt I'll ever hear from them again. And there we go. Brilliant story. The best thing about this was you literally did exactly what you were asked the entire way through. Of course, you knew what you were doing was going to be extremely annoying to the management team, and they hadn't really realized the full extent of what exactly they were asking, but you weren't going outside the rules. You were literally doing as asked, and fair play to you. To me, this feels like it might even be r/unfinished revenge. Not a subreddit that I know of, but surely when the kids and everyone comes back to term, you know, the next school year, they're going to fully realize what has happened here and what's really gone wrong and how important you were to this institution, along with all of your personal belongings that they didn't realize were your personal belongings. It's just pretty incompetent from HR and the new management and all. I mean, asking you to give all your personal stuff without really knowing what that is ridiculous. Ordering you to come into meetings with HR when you're not even employed anymore is illegal. And on top of all of that, asking you to reapply to a job that they just fired you from is crazy. The best part of this story, by a mile in my opinion, is the moment where you unscrew the bolts that you personally bought to fix a desk, leaving it obviously broken. I mean, that is elite, I've got to say.